Okay, so this is Topic A, Lesson 1 in Module 1. The objective of this lesson is to reason concretely and pictorially using place value understanding to relate adjacent base 10 units from millions to thousands. So the first thing we're going to do is start with a place value chart. And if I asked you to show millions on this place value chart, you would put a dot in the millions place. Okay? If I asked you how could we show a million using hundred thousands, we would put 10 dots in the hundred thousands place. So 10 hundred thousands is the same as 1 million. So now I ask, what is the result if I divide 10 hundred thousands by 10? Well, here we have 10 hundred thousands, and we group them each into their own group, 10 groups. So we have that 10 hundred thousands divided by 10 gives us 100 thousands. So let's just recap or review what we've said so far. So we've said that 10 hundred thousands divided by 10 equals 100,000. We've said that 1 million divided by 10 equals 100,000. Because if you remember, 1 million is the same as 10 hundred thousands. If we divide those 10 hundred thousands up, we would get 100,000. And we now know that 100,000 is 1/10 as large as 1 million. So 100,000 is smaller than 1 million. So if you divide 1 million divided by 10, you get 100,000. So some patterns. So let's look at this a little closer. We already said that if we have 1 million and we divide it by 10, we get 100,000. So what happens if we have 100,000 and we divide that by 10? Well, look at our chart. We get 1/10,000. Okay? What if we take that 1/10,000 and divide that by 10? Looking at our chart, we see that we get 1,000. So every single place divided by 10 is the place before. So if we have 1,000 and divided that by 10, you guessed it, we would get 100. We have 100, we divide that by 10, we would get 10. If we have 10 and we divide that by 10, obviously we would get 1. If we had one whole and divide that by 10, now we would move into the decimals. We would have 1/10. And if we have 1/10 and divide that by 10, we would get 100th. So some things that you should notice is that we have the decimal place, okay? Right to the right of the decimal place, or excuse me, right to the left of the decimal place is the ones place, and that's right in the middle, okay? Then on the left of the ones place is the tens place, and on the right is the tenths place, okay? To the left is the hundreds place, and to the right we have the hundredths place. Okay? Same thing happens. To the left we have the thousands place. To the right we have the thousandths place. So what would happen if we had 100th divided by 10? Well, we would end up with 1,000th. It would move over. So 100th divided by 10 equals 1,000. So now we're going to multiply copies of 1 unit by 10, 100, and 1,000. So we're going to use digits and we're going to represent 4/10 on the place value chart. So if I do that, I put 4 in the tenths column. Okay? I want to see what would happen if we multiply that by 10 now. So if we move to the right when we're dividing, we would probably move to the left when we're multiplying. So if we have 4/10 times 10, that would equal 4. 4/10 times 10 equals 40/10. 40/10 is the same as 4 wholes. So 4 ones, or 4 wholes, is 10 times as large as 4/10. And we would show this like this on our place value chart. Multiply it by 10, and we would get 4 ones. Okay? So, now we're going to do 4 hundredths by 10. So, to show 4 hundredths, the first thing I would do is put that 4 in the hundredths place. If we multiply it by 10, we know it's going to move 1 to the left. So 4 hundredths times 10 will equal 4/10. Okay? 4 hundredths times 10 is actually 40 hundredths. But 40 hundredths is the same as 4/10. So 4/10 is 10 times as large as 4 hundredths. And we would show that like this. So if you multiply that 4 hundredths times 10, it would give you 4/10. Now we're going to look to see what happens when we have 4 thousandths. So again, to show that on our place value chart, we would put a 4 in the thousandths place. 4 thousandths times 10 would be the same as we would move it 1 to the left, 4 hundredths. So 4 thousandths times 10 is the same as 40 thousandths. 40 thousandths is actually the same as 4 hundredths. So we know that 4 hundredths is 10 times as large as 4 thousandths. Okay, so on the chart, if we multiply 4 thousandths times 10, we get 4 hundredths. What happens if we divide copies of 1 unit by 10, 100, and 1,000? So let's look. What if we start with 6 ones? So I put 6 ones in the 6 in the ones place. If we divide that by 10, we know that when we divide by 10, we move that number 1 place to the right. So 6 divided by 10 would give us 6/10. 6 ones divided by 10 equals 6/10. So 6/10 is 1/10 as large as 6 ones. So on our chart, it would look like this. 6 divided by 10 gives us our 6/10. Now what happens if I take that same 6 ones, but I divide it by 100? So if we move it 1 place to the right for 10, we could say that we move it 2 places to the right for dividing by 100. So we would find out that 6 divided by 100 gives us 6 hundredths. 6 ones divided by 100 equals 6 hundredths. 6 hundredths is 1 100th as large as 6 ones. So on our place value chart, we would divide 6 by 100, and that would move it 2 places over to the hundredths place. And finally, what would happen if we took that 6 ones and divided it by thousands? Well, you guessed it, we would move it 3 places to the right. Tenths moves it 1 place, 100 moves it 2 places, 1,000 moves it 3 places. So we would find out that 6 divided by 1,000 gives us 6 thousandths. 6 ones divided by 1,000 equals 6 thousandths. 6 thousandths is 1 1,000th as large as 6 ones. And on our place value chart, if we divide that 6 by 1,000, we would get 6 thousandths. Now, tomorrow in class, you're going to do a few more examples with me, and you're also going to work on some practice problems in class as well with Mrs. Bidding. So please know that you're going to get more practice with this tomorrow, and we will be able to answer any questions that you may have.